All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Astroneer. So we're going to talk about the groundwork update that just came out on the 24th, yesterday of October 2019. So if you guys haven't already, make sure that you try to log in and download it because there are some limited items and we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the groundwork update has added several items into the game that are pretty interesting, and two of them are really significant. So the first one is the Paver, and the Paver to build, you can build it on a small printer. It's going to cost you an aluminum alloy and a silicon, and it's going to be 5,000 bytes to unlock, which is really not that bad. It's kind of very beginning game or maybe mid game item that you can get it. And then also the medium canister, and the medium canister is also on the small printer, and it takes you one plastic and one glass and 2,500 bytes to unlock. Again, another item that is beginning game, maybe medium, mid-tier game, maybe after you get your shuttle, definitely because you're going to have the chemistry lab. These items are a lot of fun to use, and they're a lot of interesting. You can do some automation with the canister, and definitely being able to pave roads, especially when going down to the core into the caves, is a very significant addition to the game. I think it adds definitely some interesting dynamics when working in the cave system, where you didn't really have to clear out, all those little stalactites and stalagmites that might be in your way. And also the fact of falling down into a deep hole is really not that much of a concern with the Paver system. So those are very cool. Three more items that they added into the game are horn related, which people have been asking for horns on their vehicles for quite some time now. And so you have the small trumpet horn, which is built on your backpack, and it's produced with one plastic. It's 1,000 bytes to unlock. You also have a medium buggy horn, which is built on the small printer, and it's one plastic and one rubber, and it's 2,000 bytes to unlock. And also the large fog horn, which is built on the medium printer. It's one plastic, one rubber, and one steel. 4,000 bytes to unlock. Now, other than being decorative and kind of cutesy and fun to play with, they really don't have much purpose if you're playing by yourself, right? I mean, I guess you could have a horn if you're recording something and you want to honk for whatever reason, honk. But I only think that the horn would be good to have in a multiplayer, and I don't really know how far away you can hear the horn if somebody in multiplayer has it. Is it over a hill, or is it just like they have to be within close proximity? That's going to be interesting to test out. But again, those items you can get pretty early game. You're going to need to have, at the very least, you're going to need to have the chemistry lab. In the case of the large foghorn, you're probably also going to need the atmospheric condenser. You absolutely are going to need the atmospheric condenser to make the steel. So there's a couple other additions that were added to the game, which are very interesting. And this is for the vehicle one is for the vehicle mainly. Well, you know what? Take that back. They're both for the vehicle. And one is stability for the vehicle. So they've added in-air stability and manual controls. So you can change the pitch and the yaw. And I think that got that right. I don't know. Was the pitch like this and yaw is like this? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a flight guy. But you can wind up adjusting those controls while you're in flight. So if you're making a big jump, or if you actually happen to put a thruster on the back of your vehicle, you're able to kind of control and stabilize your vehicle in the air. This is really cool when I tested it on the DeSolo racetrack, that when I was in flight and I was starting to list a little bit, that I could correct it and land more stable, which is nice because everybody's tired of having to flip the vehicles over. So these are great additions to have to the vehicles. I did feel that the vehicle was running a little bit slower. I don't know if that's just me or if that was actually part of the stability change that they added. The other big change is to the drill UI, and this is also part of the Paver UI system as well. It now remains visible if you have something that was going to obscure it. Like, let's say you've got some large silos on the back, or you've got a soil centrifuge on the back of your large rover. You can now see that drill indicator, that UI, through those items to help you easily be able to determine, your pitch and if you're drilling down, if you're drilling up, and just to, just be able to see those controls, period, which was very hard to do before they added in this change. There was some also talking about the drill. There was also some improvements to the responsiveness and the feel of drilling. Okay, I ran across a couple problems with using the drill and the paver, and the camera angle got a little bit wonky, which actually took my ground that I was digging to an angle on which I wasn't expecting. So I think that there's some defects in there that need to get resolved, but overall, really, really good improvements to the drill mechanism. And also, in addition, you get that with the paving system. Now, the limited item that I talked about earlier is when you log into this groundwork update, you get a new visor and a new suit palette, which is Halloween themed. And there is also another new visor that you can get when you achieve some sort of thing. I won't tell you what it is, but if you do some things inside of this particular update, you get an additional visor. Again, those are limited. So make sure you, at the very least, log in to get the first visor and the new palette. And then if you want to do the additional part, do it before November 14th, because midnight, November 14th, that's it, no more. So you lose those items. Maybe you don't want to do that. It's worth going in and getting them just to have them. There was some bug fixes and a performance fix that was related to multiplayer. Now, I haven't played multiplayer yet since the groundwork update has come out. Hopefully, maybe we can do some of that tonight. But there was a fix to the tether system where it would cause a performance degradation on clients in multiplayer games. And then there was also two additional multiplayer fixes, which one was the shuttle. If the shuttle was stuck in orbit, for somehow you got glitched, now that when you log in, those shuttles are removed, which is awesome. And customization items are now unlocked during multiplayer sessions, which they weren't before. On top of all of that, in version 1.6.49, which is the groundwork update, they fixed a lot of defects. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and read all these defects to you. I do have a link to the patch notes if you want to sit down and read all of the defect list and go through all those items. But there's a lot of things that are really interesting in here. Maybe I'll touch on one or two. Packing the soil centrifuge while it's active will no longer cause a crash. The shuttle is no longer stuttering in flight when picked up and moved by players. There's some decoration fixes. There's some printing related fixes. Like I said, I don't want to go through them all, but it's very interesting, some of the changes that they made to the defects fixes for this particular round. And finally, remember that on November 15th, we're going to get the creative mode update, and we're also going to get the PS4 launch simultaneously. Now, what I found that was kind of interesting that they didn't put down in that particular bottom part of the patch notes was anything about dedicated servers. So I'm hoping that dedicated servers are still remaining on track for November 15th. They didn't say anything specifically, but let's just make the assumption that they are on track for November 15th and that we'll be able to get dedicated servers when the creative update and the PS4 launch comes out. All right, so that was it for me and the patch notes for the groundwork update. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribers, please subscribe. We have a great community of people here. And if you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. Remember to hit that notification bell so that you know when I go live and when I post new videos. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.